Thanks for clicking on Inside the Zone alongside Justin Kinney of Optimum Performance Sports. We are talking Week 11 as the football season, second season, begins for some of the 6A and 5A schools after a bye. That is where we're going to start this week because we've got a lot of local games to get to. Let's start in 6A Sectional 3. We got a couple rematches.
Yeah, we do.
But these are rematches from games we saw in Week 1 and Week 2 of the regular season. Snyder and Carroll, Homestead and Northrop. We'll start with Snyder-Carroll. It's going to be our highlight zone game of the week. And you take a look back at this game. It was 38-14 Carroll over the Panthers in Week 2. That was the high point of Carroll season. Since then, these two teams have gone opposite ways. Carroll finished 3-6 in the regular season. Snyder 7-2.
It was only 2 months ago that we saw this game. It feels like 2 years ago with how each of these teams have gone since that game. Of course, Carroll has only beaten Northside and Southside other than Snyder, and then Snyder has gotten better and better. If you remember back then, Giannini Belizaire did not play that game. Ethan Hoover did not play that game. Two of the primary players defensively for the Panthers, and they will be back and ready on Friday. So Carroll has had that target on them since that loss by Snyder, and the Panthers get what they want. They draw the Chargers first round.
I know the Panthers will not have any problems with motivation this time around. You mentioned a couple of defensive stalwarts coming back. What are some of the things also that, Kurt Tippmann is going to stress during this week's practice? Because obviously, you don't want to lose to Carroll twice in a season.
Well, I think one thing we saw in that game in which Carroll won was the dominance up front by the lines of Carroll, offensive and defensive. We saw them really push around and manhandle the Snyder offensive defensive lines. I think that's the focus. I think Coach Russ Isaacs is really going to have his guys focus this week because that was where Snyder lost that game, and I expect that's where they win this game on Friday night.
Yeah, obviously, Coach Isaacs, longtime head coach, great coach in the trenches. He's going to be fired up. He's going to be giving them the look. The look. If they don't get it done.
He does not even have to coach his guys. He just needs to give them that look this week.
Stare at them.
And the guys will be like, gotcha, coach.
We know what to do. Homestead Northrop, this was a Week 1 game in which we saw Homestead win 45-28. It took them a while to start to pull away in that one. But these are two teams that can score. Northrop, we've seen it really in the second half of the season. Obviously a win against Carroll. What do you see being the difference in this ball game?
I see a lot of points in this football game, as we've seen in most every Northrop game this season. Homestead, I've liked their defense in particular, the latter half of the year getting better and better. We anticipate that Snyder-Homestead final in this sectional, but Northrop has the guys, guys like Bailey Mirzio, Devion Berry, guys like that to put up some points to keep this one close. I see it similar to Week 1. Close for the first half, and then I think Homestead kind of goes away and hides in the second.
If you're Jason Dorfler, I'll ask this like I asked about the last game. What do you focus on this week? Because you know that this is, because of what you've been able to do and what you can do offensively, if your defense steps up, this is still a winnable game if you're the Northrop Bruins.
We saw Northrop make some plays against other teams to get wins earlier in the year. Northside, 2 pick sixes that they returned for touchdowns, and those were the big plays defensively. They don't need a lockdown performance Friday. They just need some big plays defensively. Key turnover here, a key stop here to give them a chance to win.